So, you want to prepare for Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday, that is. Sorry for the bit of clickbait there. How are you guys? I hope you're having a phenomenal day today. It is currently raining here in sunny Florida. I really appreciated the feedback from my last video. I appreciated you guys' support, and I got some great comments from you fellas. And so, thank you. And I really hope to continue to share more of my passions with you guys in the near future. Now, this video is going to be a little different, right? Because word just got out that Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars got pushed back to December of 2026 and December of 2027, respectively. Now, there are two positives to come from this. One, it gives the visual effects artists more time to breathe. Because trust me when I say, I too stand with the VFX artists, okay? Union for VFX artists, all right? I stand with you guys 100%, okay? So that's one thing, right? Now, the second thing is, if you're somebody like me, then you must know I love doing marathons, specifically movie marathons. And so I am going to quickly go over these watch orders that I'm going to do, and hopefully you guys follow suit to prepare for Avengers Doomsday. So this is how to best prepare for Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday, sorry. So starting off with the Infinity Saga. I feel like every film in the Infinity Saga is very important. Very, very crucial. Especially building towards the crux of Avengers Endgame, right? So I feel like all of these are absolutely worth watching in some way, shape, or form. The only one I would say you could skip is Captain Marvel. However, I would still say you could watch that one because that film also does have some payoffs later down the line. However, here's something different. Because for the longest time, Marvel Television they have refused to canonize anything that wasn't made by them. So the TV shows that were made, like say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, Inhumans, all the Netflix shows, and even the Hulu shows, they weren't considered canon to the MCU because of this, right? However, it was recently announced last year that the Netflix shows are officially MCU canon, to which I'm like, dude, I mean, they were always canon, you just refuse to acknowledge it. You know, but this does add a whole new way to watch these movies. So the first thing you would do is after Guardians of the Galaxy and before Avengers Age of Ultron, you would watch the first season of Daredevil, right? Then after Ant-Man, between Ant-Man and Civil War, you will watch the first season of Jessica Jones and Daredevil Season 2. Then between Civil War and Doctor Strange, you would watch Luke Cage Season 1. Then between Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you will watch the first season of Iron Fist. Now, fun fact about this one, I fell asleep through the first 3 episodes. If that doesn't tell you how bad the show is, I don't know what else. It's pretty boring. I would argue you could skip Iron Fist, but if you're a completionist, then by all means, go ahead and watch it. Then after that, between Spider-Man Homecoming and Thor Ragnarok, you got The Defenders. Then between Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther, you have the first season of The Punisher. Now, this next step is where things get a little complicated because the latter half of the Netflix seasons get a little entangled with the releases of Infinity War and Endgame, even though when you logically think about it, it's like, oh no, there's no possible way these seasons take place like during the events or after the events of Infinity War, because they would have to acknowledge them in some way, right? So because of this, in the timeline, in the official timeline, they placed all of these seasons before Avengers Infinity War. So what I would recommend is, after you watch Black Panther, but before you watch Infinity War, you would watch Jessica Jones Season 2, Luke Cage Season 2, Iron Fist Season 2, Daredevil Season 3, Punisher Season 2, and Jessica Jones Season 3, all in that order before watching Infinity War. I think it makes the most logical sense. Like that's just me, my personal opinion, right? So that's it. So you got the Infinity Saga marathon covered, okay? So now we get to the Marvel Legacy. the Marvel Legacy section. Now this is the term that was used by Disney to coin the Marvel movies that were not made by Disney, right? The ones that are made outside of the MCU. And so these are the ones that are confirmed at this point, that are confirmed for the MCU, and the characters featured in these films have come back in Multiverse Saga projects. Now, first one up, the Blade trilogy. The Blade trilogy starring Wesley Snipes. Very, very good series of films. The third one leaves a lot to be desired, but, I'd say overall the trilogy is still pretty good. The Fox X-Men franchise. I would make a whole separate video about this, about explaining why I think the timeline makes sense. Don't leave. Okay, to quote another YouTuber I love, don't leave, okay? Because if I were to explain it, your minds would be blown, okay? But I'm not going to do that in this video. All right, so the Fox X-Men franchise, especially going to be very important for later down the line for Doomsday. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, excellent series of films. These characters pop up in No Way Home, and supposedly Tobey might come back for Secret Wars, so keep an eye out on that. What I like to call the Dare-Elektra duology, because this duology consists of Daredevil and Elektra. Now, Daredevil is great, especially the director's cut. All right, I would highly recommend the director's cut. Elektra, however, both cuts are equally terrible, so I would not recommend that movie. It's more optional, really. So there's that. Up next, you got the 2000s Fantastic Four duology. All right, these are, I would argue, an underrated set of films, and especially what comes afterwards with the Fantastic reboot. It's definitely much better in hindsight. And then lastly, you got the Amazing Spider-Man film starring Andrew Garfield. These are the first one I really liked. The second one is mahomeno. But Andrew Garfield definitely makes these films worth watching, and especially his chemistry with Emma Stone. So there you have it. Now, an optional franchise is the Sony Spider-Man universe, or as I like to call it, the Spider-Man-less cinematic universe. Because Eddie Brock does show up in No Way Home, but he only shows up for a brief period of time, like literally after the movie is over. Now, until they bring back the Venom symbiote in either Brand New Day or the upcoming Avengers films, I am not going to be counting any of the Sonyverse movies. And plus, that will also save you a whole lot of time and a whole lot of patience, because believe me, these movies can really make you lose your patience that fast. Now, what about the other non-MCU Marvel films like Hulk 2003? It's not confirmed, but I would really like it if he did pop up in Secret Wars, okay? Because we need the Hulk back. We need Savage Hulk back. I want him back, okay? That's just me, okay? All right, I'm about to start tweaking. 2004's Punisher. I'm not sure if he is going to come back, because I just don't know if he would fit in this upcoming saga. However, I think it would be pretty cool, and especially him interacting with John Bernthal's Punisher, I think it would be absolutely fantastic. Nick Cage's Ghost Rider. Oh man, I really would love to see Nick Cage come back as Ghost Rider for the Avengers films. I think that would be really, really cool. But as of right now, it has not been confirmed. Punisher Warzone. Unfortunately, I don't think this is possible because the actor who plays Punisher in this movie, Ray Stevenson, he passed away, and so I really don't think that they're gonna like acknowledge this film in any way. But it's worth mentioning because I do quite like Punisher Warzone, especially for its Punisher-ness, right? And Ray Stevenson, R.I.P. my boy, you were a fantastic Punisher. So then you also got the Fantastic universe. I don't know. I really don't know if Marvel's willing to go that far to acknowledge this. I really, really don't know. It would be something if Miles Teller does come back as like the Maker, the Maker from the Ultimate Universe. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then finally, you got the Spider-Verse movies. Technically, the Spider-Verse movies do acknowledge the MCU in some fashion, but the MCU has not acknowledged the Spider-Verse movies, so who knows if any of those characters are going to pop up in Secret Wars or Doomsday. I think it'll be pretty cool, though. I think it'll be very, very cool, especially seeing Miguel O'Hara in there. I'm telling you, man, this is so cool. And now here we get to the multiverse saga section. Now, these are the ones that I picked out based on either they're just really good or they're important to watch before Doomsday because these do feature characters that are going to come back in some way, shape, or form. Or 3 just because I felt like it, because I felt like including them. So these are WandaVision, pretty good show. Ending kind of fumbles it. And this show is going to be pretty important, especially for Multiverse of Madness. Falcon and the Winter Soldier features, obviously, Bucky, Sam, and John Walker. They all going to come back for Avengers Doomsday. Loki Season 1. Loki's coming back for Avengers Doomsday, so pretty much both seasons of Loki. You can knock those off your list. Or, no, you can watch those, right? Like, those are especially important. Black Widow introduces Yelena Belova and Red Guardian. They too are going to pop up in Avengers Doomsday, so Black Widow should be on your list. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, finally, after his freaking solo movie, he finally comes back, right, for Doomsday. So, and also just, it's a really good film. It's really, really good. Highly recommended. Hawkeye, again, features Yelena Belova. Whose next appearance is in Thunderbolts. So, and of course she comes back in Doomsday. You also have the reintroduction of the Netflix characters like Kingpin into the fold. So you have that. Spider-Man No Way Home brings in Tobey and Andrew Spider-Man from their universes into here, and really, really cool multiverse story. Plus, it also has a nice little cameo from Matt Murdock. So, there's that. Moon Knight, I think there's a pretty solid chance he might show up in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. Because if not, I think it would be totally wasted potential. Plus, I also think the show is quite solid, for the most part. Kaiju battle aside. And really, Oscar Isaac is just like the sole reason to watch it, okay? Multiverse of Madness, again, tackles deep into the multiverse concept. And it also features, other characters like Doctor Strange, Wong, and it even features a Professor X variant. So, and Professor X is gonna come back up in Doomsday. So there you have it. Thor: Love and Thunder. The only reason this movie's on the list is because Thor is coming back for Doomsday. Regardless, I would have skipped this one entirely. But it's really up to you. Werewolf by Night. I'm pretty sure it's not going to connect to anything in the grand scheme of things, but it's just a really good TV special. It's really, really, really good. So I would highly recommend it. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Very solid film. Very, very solid film. Plus, Shuri and Namor and M'Baku are all going to come back for Doomsday, so this is especially going to be an important film to watch. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. You put the Guardians of the Galaxy and Christmas together, and you get magic. Okay? You get magic. And a really good, like, breath of fresh air compared to what happens in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, this does sort of tackle more into, like, the multiverse concept with Kang and all that stuff. And really, this film's only worth watching because, one, because of Jonathan Majors, and two, because Scott Lang is going to come back for Doomsday, so keep an eye on that. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, excellent film. And even if this did not connect to anything else in the grand scheme of things, it's still an excellent movie and is so worth your time. Loki Season 2, really solid conclusion to the show. And like I said, Tom Hiddleston's Loki is going to be popping back up in Avengers Doomsday, so that's going to be pretty exciting. Deadpool and Wolverine also explores more of the multiverse concept and brings in characters from all the other non-MCU Marvel films into the MCU. And Channing Tatum's Gambit is going to be coming back. Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself. I'm telling you, I love that guy. Captain America: Brave New World. This has Falcon and Sam Wilson and Joaquin Torres. They're both going to be coming back for Avengers Doomsday. So this is yet another movie to add to the list. Daredevil: Born Again Season 1. Now, probably the Netflix characters are never going to pop up in Doomsday or Secret Wars, but I would put Daredevil: Born Again here because it is the first true continuation of the Netflix shows. And I'm especially very excited for Season 2. Thunderbolts. Excellent movie, highly worth your time, and this is the film that introduces the new Avengers and all these characters like Sentry, Yelena Belova, U.S. Agent, Red Guardian, Bucky, and am I missing something? Oh yeah, and Ghost. All these characters are all going to pop back up in Avengers Doomsday, so definitely keep an eye on that. Fantastic Four: First Steps. fantastic, ain't it? Right? Like, if you've been playing Marvel Rivals, like you know exactly what I mean. Yeah, I'm very excited for this film. I cannot wait to see how it ties into Doomsday, and I can't wait to see how the four go from their universe into the main timeline. And then finally, you got Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Now, this is only because of the delay. Now, Spider-Man is going to be released before Avengers: Doomsday, so maybe we're going to see Peter Parker popping up for maybe a short period of time in Avengers: Doomsday, but who knows, right? And that is it. That is all I have for here. Now, until they confirm more characters, because they did say that, oh, this isn't even the full cast, right? Like, it's pretty exciting, right? So, yeah, there you have it. That is my list. I hope it wasn't as crazy as I made it seem out to be. Now, if you're willing to do all these things in chronological order, I salute thee. Okay, like I think if you can, you can. Like, trust me. So there you have it. That is what I'm going to be watching to prepare for Avengers Doomsday. If there are any projects that you agree or disagree with that I should add to the list or maybe detract from the list, let me know in the comments below. And let me know what you are going to watch before going to see Avengers Doomsday. Or maybe you're not going to watch anything at all and you're just going to watch some recap videos, in which case, that's also perfectly fine. So anyways, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you here next time on Critical Lockdown.